Your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Buckle up as we dive into a trade showdown shaking the automotive world. The US has imposed aggressive tariffs, and France isn't backing down. This counteroffensive could reshape the European auto market and beyond. But this isn't just about policy. It's about the future of vehicle manufacturing, supply chains, and pricing. So let's shift into high gear and break down the 7 key factors driving this economic standoff and its impact on the auto industry. Factor number 7. France fires back. Swift retaliation to US tariffs. In February 2025, President Donald Trump imposed a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports, aiming to protect US industries but triggering swift backlash. France, led by President Emmanuel Macron, immediately responded, refusing to let US policies dictate its economy. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot reinforced France's defiance, stating that Europe would stand against economic pressure. France quickly explored countermeasures to shield its industries from financial strain. For the automotive sector, the stakes are high. Steel and aluminum are essential materials, and a 25% cost surge means higher production expenses and rising consumer prices. With France taking an aggressive stance, the battle over tariffs is only beginning. How will this clash reshape global trade and the automotive industry? Factor number 6. France revving up economic ties with China. As US trade tensions rise, France is shifting gears toward China, strengthening economic ties to ensure stability. Over the past 6 decades, France-China trade has grown 800-fold, and by 2023, the two nations had signed 18 cooperation agreements spanning various industries. For automakers, this alliance is game-changing. With China leading in EV innovation and battery technology, French manufacturers are securing long-term opportunities in a rapidly expanding market. This isn't just diplomacy, it's a strategic pivot away from US trade uncertainty. By deepening ties with China's booming auto sector, European car makers gain access to new technologies, joint ventures, and expanded sales opportunities. This move helps offset the impact of US tariffs, ensuring France remains competitive in the evolving global auto market. Could this shift redefine automotive trade forever? Factor number 5. Disrupting the European auto supply chain. Trade wars shake entire industries, and Europe's automotive sector is feeling the pressure. With US tariffs driving raw material costs sky high, manufacturers are scrambling to adjust their supply chains. Airbus CEO Guillaume Faury warned that rising costs might force prioritization of non-US clients, a concern that echoes across the car industry. Automakers now face tough choices: absorb costs, find new suppliers, or shift production elsewhere. For European manufacturers, this means potential factory relocations, contract renegotiations, and alternative material sourcing. The consumer impact? Higher car prices, squeezed profit margins, and a tougher competitive landscape. Some companies are exploring aluminum alternatives and recycling efforts, but one thing is clear: these tariffs are forcing a complete recalibration of the automotive industry's future strategies. How will car makers adapt? Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now, let's explore factor number 4, the EU's unified front, a trade war on the horizon. Washington may have expected a divided Europe, but the European Union has presented a united front against US tariffs, standing firm against economic pressure. President Emmanuel Macron has led the charge, urging the EU to protect its industries and challenge unfair trade barriers. For the automotive sector, this standoff carries serious consequences. As one of the world's largest vehicle producers, Europe faces supply chain disruptions, rising manufacturing costs, and a potential loss of global competitiveness. If tensions escalate, automakers could see parts shortages, price hikes, and market instability. While diplomatic channels remain open, Europe is already preparing countermeasures, including retaliatory tariffs and stronger trade alliances with Asia and Latin America. With automakers caught in the crossfire, the coming months could bring major shifts in global vehicle production. How will the industry respond? Factor number 3. Shifting gears, diversifying trade partnerships. With US trade policies growing more unpredictable, France and the broader European Union are accelerating trade diversification. Instead of relying heavily on the American market, France is strengthening economic ties with key global players, particularly China, which has now become France's largest trading ally in Asia. For the automotive industry, this shift is strategic. Expanding trade relationships with emerging markets opens doors for innovation, collaboration, and resilience. By reducing dependence on a single region, manufacturers protect themselves from geopolitical instability. European automakers exporting heavily to the US now face a crucial decision: adapt to changing trade dynamics or risk losing market share. Whether through joint ventures, technology sharing, or new production hubs, the traditional reliance on transatlantic trade is fading. Global diversification is the new standard for survival. Factor number 2, a strained relationship, the long-term fallout for US-EU trade. The tariff battle between the US and Europe has escalated into a full-scale diplomatic standoff, shaking a once stable transatlantic alliance. The ripple effects extend far beyond trade, impacting industries and global market dynamics. For European automakers, the stakes are immense. The US is a critical market for Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz, but a 25% tariff on European car imports could cripple their competitiveness, raising prices for American consumers and forcing manufacturers to rethink strategies. If this conflict escalates into a prolonged economic rift, we could witness a seismic shift in global trade alliances. The European Union is already reassessing its priorities, looking toward China and other stable partners. This standoff could reshape supply chains, manufacturing strategies, and consumer choices, potentially redefining the global auto industry for years to come. Factor number 1, the auto industry, the engine of trade negotiations. The automotive industry is at the center of trade negotiations, with millions of jobs and billions in revenue on the line. This isn't just about selling cars, it's about economic power and global influence. President Trump's tariffs have thrown automakers into uncertainty, forcing them to rethink strategies, cut costs, and lobby for policy changes. European brands heavily depend on the US market, but rising production costs and shrinking profits may push them to shift operations elsewhere. The impact isn't one-sided. If Europe retaliates with tariffs on US-made cars, Ford and General Motors could lose ground in the European market. The only real solution? Negotiation. Industry leaders are urging Washington and Brussels to find common ground before irreversible damage is done. The auto sector remains the battleground where this trade war will be decided. Verdict: a crossroads for the automotive industry. France's bold counterpunch to US tariffs has set the stage for a global economic shift, and automakers are caught in the middle of it all. As the European Union navigates this complex landscape, manufacturers must brace for rising costs, restructured supply chains, and new market realities. The pivot toward China and other alternative trade partners is already underway, signaling that Europe may no longer rely on the US as its dominant trade ally. If tariffs remain in place, European automakers could permanently shift investments elsewhere, potentially weakening US-EU economic ties beyond repair. So, what's next? Can Washington and Brussels find common ground before the industry suffers lasting consequences? Or are we witnessing the dawn of a new automotive trade era, where alliances shift and manufacturers forge new paths? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Are these trade tensions a bump in the road or a complete detour for the auto industry? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates on this ever-evolving story. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep your engines revving and stay tuned to Highway Herald, your trusted source for everything automotive.